Science.
Okay, let's say we've already come up with the question and the hypothesis, and we've already gotten the materials and gone through the steps of the experiment, and we've done the experiment, and now we've collected the data, and we want to show it to people, show what we found. But when we look at the data, we're kind of just like, this is kind of hard to read. How are we supposed to concisely and easily display data that we've observed, data that we've gathered, to people in a way that's easy for them to understand? Well, this is what a little tool called a table comes involved. A table, aka la mesa, is a thing that you eat on. You put food on it, and then you sit down with a thing called a chair, and you eat on the table. Okay, no. That was a joke. That was a joke. A table is that, but this is a different type of table. The table we're talking about is a tool that scientists and various people use to display data. It kind of goes like this. Imagine you wanted to see the height of different objects inside your room, okay? And you wanted to show people the what the height of the different objects were. So you say, okay, what am I trying to measure for? Well, I'm trying to measure for the object, what object, and then the height of that object. So let's say you write down object and then height. Those are the two categories we're looking at. What type of object it is and the height of that object. And then let's say we divide that by a line. And then under the object, we put the name of the object right there. Let's say it's a pencil. And then under the name of the height, we put the height of the pencil right there. And then let's say we put a hammer under the object again, and then we put the height of the hammer. As you can see, this is a pretty easy way to display data. You can easily look and see, well, there's an object category and there's a height category. This is the height. This tells you all the height, and this tells you what object what that height corresponds to. For example, the pencil corresponds to that height, and the hammer corresponds to that height. So if we're able to keep data concise and easily readable, then people will be able to understand what we've experimented for and what those experiments resulted in. And this is very important. This is really important in science, because you need to be able to concisely explain and show what you've observed. Okay, let's try another thing. Let's say we were trying to measure how let's say we were trying to measure how bouncy a ball is, okay? So we write down, let's say, what are the categories we're trying to measure for? First of all, the ball, so what kind of ball we're using. So we put ball, type of ball, and then we put bounciness, because it's another thing, it's the other thing. So we're trying to measure for the ball and the bounciness. So let's say we put in the first category, soccer ball, and we give it the bounciness a little bit, not a lot, but it's a little bit of bouncy, but it's not a lot of bouncy. And then in the ball category, we put rubber ball. And then in the bouncy category, we put really bouncy, super duper bouncy. And we keep going down the line with each ball. See, we put the categories. At the top, we will put the categories that we're trying to measure for. And then we put the things that we're measuring for and how each one corresponds. And it's a really easy way, a really concise, a really clear way to display data, which is, again, really important for being a scientist. So go home, find something you want to test around, and test it, and then display the data using a table like this. And Stay in school.